Noting the quorum, I'll call this meeting to order. I'll ask everyone to please rise for the pledge if you're able. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So take a moment to ask everyone to have Ronell Wilson and his family in your thoughts and prayers. He passed this week. That is a huge loss for our community. So we're going to have a moment of silence for that. And following that moment, Councilman Behrens will lead us in our invocation. So after that moment, and when you're ready, Councilman, you can lead us in the invocation. So a moment of silence. Thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, as I just noticed that Mr. Wilson did pass away, please put your hands on this community, the citizens, his family, friends, and loved ones. We know that he was a devoted son of yours, and he loved you truly, and it shows every single day that he lived on this earth. We know that he is with you now in your presence and at peace. We ask that you bless this committee, the city council today, to make the right decisions that are needed for Weimar to grow and prosper and to be the best city that we know that it can, and it is today. And all this, we also ask for rain, because as you all know, our grass is starting to turn brown, and we'd rather love it to be the green and pretty green grass that we do have. And all this we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. I'd like to welcome everyone in the audience who's present for our regular meeting Thursday, August the 13th, 2026, and also would thank all of those who are participating at home. We appreciate that input that comes from you. So with that, we'll move on with our agenda items. To item 3, we don't have anyone who has signed up to speak. Is there anyone that was expecting to do that and is not present? Okay. We'll move on to item 4, proclamations and recognitions. David, do we have anything there? I don't see anything listed.
No.
Okay. Item 5, introduction of new employees. We're excited to see some names there. So, David.
Chief, would you like to introduce your new employee?
Sure. Yeah. Mayor and council, we're happy to introduce Johnny Weisenhand. He's got over 18 years of experience in the police business, and he's been with us now for, a month or more now? Yes. So we weren't able to get him in the last council meeting because of scheduling issues, but he's here today, so we're very happy to have him. He's been a great impact for our community.
Right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome to Weimar.
And we have a new employee in our Public Works Department, Cedric Irving. Cedric couldn't be with us tonight, but Cedric has joined us. He's helping us out with the Public Works.
Yes. He's currently being utilized in the Parks Department to help out Orlando and Russell with a lot of the mowing, the shredding, and maintaining and things like that. Comes with a little bit of experience that we're training him up along the way, and even to the point that next week when we start our meter reading, we're going to cross-train him on that as well, have him out just to kind of be jack of all trades a little bit.
Well, I know you're excited about that.
Absolutely.
It's good to have someone.
We needed the help, so that's great. So we'll move to item 6, city manager and staff reports. David?
Okay, we'll start with my report. Mayor, council, we turn to page 5. Clay and I are continuing to finalize the budget. There's a group of people here from Langford. They'll be talking with us in the future agenda item here. We're still waiting on proposals from E3. They're going to give us a couple of different choices, so they're still putting those proposals together. In the meantime, I purchased a product called Scoop Grease Hog. We'd used this up to about 3 years ago. It's an enzyme product. It's about 8 to 10,000 a year, depending how often you use it. It's basically Rid-X on steroids, and this product, you throw it in the pond. And it activates the enzymes, destroy the bacteria in there. It's specially formulated to also take in some of the grease and the chemicals that come out of the transfer station and wash down into our sewer ponds. So she's had a good formula there. We've used it in the past, we've had good success with it, so I wanted to at least put that in there for maybe like 6 months and see how that goes. Derek and the crews have been working on some poles. They did Cabot Street. They're now over at the ball fields at Hill Park, replacing the wood poles with steel poles. So I think they have 2 more that are the more difficult ones, and that'll be coming up in the next week or so. I'll skip some of these down here.
An update on the sports complex.
Yep, so we had, on July 23rd, we had a sports complex meeting. And the Donors family was here. I guess everybody knows their name by now. They did come and we did show them the plans. They were very excited. We did have a brief meeting today with the architects, and we've scaled it back a little bit for phase 1 so that we can get some shovels on the ground and get things going. So we've kind of scaled it back, and we're going to proceed forward with 2 ball fields and concession and restrooms to get things started. So at least we'll get some work going on out there. We submitted several grants, LCRA grant, Texas Water Development Board grant. That was for close to $10 million on that grant, LCRA grant, and then there's another Texas Parks and Wildlife grant for $750,000.
David, I noticed the
That's that.
Bobcat sweeper arrived. You want to address that a little bit?
So the Bobcat sweeper, they did come, they did put on the water kit. They got it all working. Michael does have a little concern with the wiring, the way the fittings are, so he wants them to upgrade what they did to a more durable solution. That's the only problem.
Yeah.
Have you all used it yet? Have you actually
Not
tried
yet,
it?
really, we haven't had the time,
Yeah.
but also I kind of don't want to break what's currently there. What
Yeah.
they did, instead of using a quick connect, they took a bolt out, ran a wire through and spliced it in. So it's a connection now that pulls back and forth. So every little bounce, every little everything, now we got slack in the tires and everything. I really don't want to run it until this is resolved.
Yeah, so it's a good group of mechanics, so they'll come and fix it.
Good.
Let's see, I know y'all had asked about the water sewer issues in town. I put together for you a map, and then I just got this in a few minutes ago from Holly. And I'm going to let Michael talk next after I get done here. So the total, if we took all the improvements we need to do in Weimar, to be the cast iron pipes, the galvanized pipes, the lead and copper pipes, all the aging sewer pipes, and then come back with new surfaces on the roads. Once we've dug all that up, we need to put new surfaces back on the roads. We're talking about $30 million for the entire city. But we need to get started. We can't just keep putting it off, because every year we put it off, the prices go up and up. So Michael would like to start with the downtown area, which you see is outlined by purple, which was a 12-inch loop that we did around downtown several years back. Michael's saying that most water passes through this area at some time. It passes through here and then gets distributed back out. It's the oldest area in town. It's probably the hardest because of the alleys and the businesses and things like that. But we feel that this would be a great place to start. I was looking at, these numbers came in about twice what was in my mind, but Holly said between 5.3 million and 7.8 million, given the different contingencies at the bottom there. A mediocre goal would be about 6.2. We did talk with John Howell, and he's working up some numbers for us to maybe go out for a CO or something like that. I don't feel, we do have some grants that we're working on, the $10 million one I just feel if we keep chasing grants, this is gonna keep getting put off for another year, another year, another year. So if we have a goal to accomplish this, if we get a grant, fine, we can add it to it, or we can do another adjacent project next to it, but we need to start. I mean, the prices aren't going down. So, my next step will be to work with John and try to come up with some definite funding numbers for you. And, we'll see how we can accomplish this. We might have to break this in half, but, at least we can get started. I think will be our main thing is if we get started, we'll be moving in the right direction.
I think that's right. I think the community appreciate knowing the scope of everything that has to be done, the cost of that scope, you know, the fact that it would have to be incremental, and that, you know, it needs to be made for the citizenry as palatable as possible. But it's not really a question of, does it need to be done? It's been needing to be done for some extended period of time. And so I think you're right that, and I know it's been brought up several times at the council over the last 2 years for sure, and I'm sure before that, that we need to just take a bite out of the elephant. It's going to bite us if we don't.
Right.
And we need to get on it, so I'm glad to see this myself. I'm sure the council is as well.
Okay.
Anything else on the agenda?
I'm going to move, Michael, I'm going to move you up next so you can continue to talk on this and then go ahead and into your regular report.
Sure. So first things first, are there any questions of the maps and everything that we're looking at so far? So as you can see, right over here on the eastern side of this purple line, you can see where the MG lot is, where the water tower is at. And all of our water mixes in that water tower and then goes out through this 12-inch line, this purple line, and then spreads out throughout town. So my whole goal is we take care of the inner core of this, and then north, south, east, west, we can pick and choose basically which way we go as needed. But since everything pretty much passes, for the most part, through this area, we need to go ahead and hit this first and then continue down that source. Again, like I said, this is just phase one of what David mentioned of a 30+ million infrastructure upgrade. So, of course, absolutely, we don't need to chase grants to start this and put shovels in the ground, but chasing grants could very well fund phase two, phase three, and keep this a continuation. So I think this is a very, very solid start to getting the town on track and where it needs to be.
What kind of pipe is that? I know it's a 12-inch. What is it?
It's C900 PVC.
So it's a PVC pipe, you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And if you look at you'll see the legend there. Then down the little box below the legend, it's got like the CI, the GI, the PVC. And if you look around, some places you'll see CI, PVC. They're not going to touch the PVC, but they'll go through the GI, the CI. So all of those will be addressed.
So, we're leaving the purple line or changing?
Purple line, yeah, that's fairly new. That'll
Yes.
stay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yes,
That's taken
yes,
out.
sorry.
You're
No,
replacing
no,
that.
no.
I was like, what?
No.
Basically, everything,
Place
that's fairly
everything
new.
inside of it.
That's
Yeah,
everything-
and then
okay.
we can start
And-
branching out
Okay,
with a
that's-
clean
that makes
source.
Big
Okay.
difference.
And if it's new PVC inside of it, we're leaving it. We're only
Okay.
gonna address the things that aren't PVC.
Gotcha.
That's the best way to put it.
The goal is metal,
Yeah,
flat out. Galvanized, copper, cast, any metal whatsoever, anything that can oxidize and rust.
so Michael, why would we need to, address the sewer lines while we're down there?
Again, all of our sewer lines are basically clay terracotta pots. As soon as we start doing compaction tests and everything else for road base and all of that, to put down a fresh road on top of these newly repaired water lines, we're gonna crack those sewer pipes. And then now our brand new road is just gonna be continuously littered with potholes from sewer leaks. And being the sewer, the elevation is a lot deeper than the water lines. So we could hit a spot where the leak's 8 foot down, 12 foot down, even more so. So, we need to go ahead and just change it all out, measure twice, cut once.
one thing to check into, David. I don't know if it makes any difference. I know when I lived on Summit Street, at the end there, it ran into a problem to where the water line and the sewer ran underneath, you know, the water went under, making sure that there's, I don't know if it costs any more, but to make sure that that's covered in this budget that we're gonna be doing, to where it's not like, uh-oh, now we got this hiccup.
You mean the cross?
Yeah, so what it was, the water line went under the sewer, they had to put the special casing and all that
That's
stuff.
what, that's, Holly,
Correct.
we were talking about that.
Just
Holly
making
was
sure
here
that's
this
covered.
afternoon.
Yes, oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So there's no surprises.
Right, right, and that's part of the contingency, the 25% contingency down the bottom.
Okay.
Correct.
But yes, Holly was, you either use a different type of pipe, or you cement encase the area, so,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, and even in some places, you can use spray foam and things like that. And you just need a piece of pipe that's 2 nominal inches or 2 nominal degrees above what you currently have. So if you got an 8, you want to go for a 10, 10 to 12, something like that, and then just fill it in. The law says 9 feet apart. So basically, you put 1 stick of pipe that's 20 foot, dead center of where that intersection is at, where the sewer's crossing the water, you're covered for your 9 feet on both sides.
Gotcha. I just remember it kind of being like, uh-oh, at that time, just making sure we're covered.
It's just that, yeah, the times I've been here, there's so many surprises under the ground here in Weimar, it's crazy, we don't know what's under the ground really until you get there.
Correct.
Exactly, you're right.
And with this, once we kind of get the ball rolling on all of that, I'm gonna be in contact with CenterPoint too, to see if they're gonna wanna come through and change out their lines while we have it all exposed, or if they would like us to bury and cover and not be a part of our project. But this would be a perfect opportunity for them to come in and take care of all of their issues too.
Great idea.
Michael, can you repeat what materials you're targeting to replace?
Yes, all metals. So it'd be the cast iron, the galvanized, copper, anything that, all of those lines that, they can basically absorb lead from downstream, or from upstream. And that's part of the lead and copper rule improvements and all of that too, that we're under, that we have to go ahead and start getting all this stuff replaced by 2034.
So basically, like this East Post Office, just so, to get back, so that CT right here, basically you're gonna, replace that, join it with this other PVC that's right here in this other red line? So you're not
Correct.
gonna, so there's gonna be patches in the road, or is it gonna be like, you know what I mean?
No, it's gonna be a full set, a
It's gonna be
complete
full.
job, yes.
Okay, but you're just not gonna replace that pipe, you're just gonna join it?
Mhm.
Okay, got it.
But we'll have it all replaced, so everything in this area is all PVC tied in.
Gonna be a mess for a little while.
It will.
Yeah.
That's what I was wondering to make sure, is kinda cause it like, yeah.
Looking at this, projection from Strand, they put it out for about 24 months roughly. So it'd be about a 2-year job. And being in the alleyways and things like that, it will cause trouble for some of the businesses down there, but it'll also be a lot more out of sight, out of mind compared to out in the residential neighborhoods and things like that too.
So who's gonna be tackling this?
This will be a contractor.
Yeah, you are forbidding.
Contractor.
Yeah, thank goodness.
40,000.
Kyle likes contractors.
Turn right.
Any other questions on this right now?
We're glad that we're moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah, so hopefully by the next council meeting, we'll have a more of a financial plan.
Yes.
Okay, that'd be great.
I apologize for not having y'all a report in y'all's agenda packets. I'd been out on a medical leave, and I didn't get back until last Friday and was kind of trying to get everything back together, get my bearings. But I can give you a verbal report easily enough. I know this time right now, where it's getting into drought time, the leaks are popping up. Sewer, water, all of them. So it's gotten to the point, like this week alone, we've been on a leak every single day. And I know the last couple of weeks, we've been on leaks almost every single day, between water lines, sewer lines, and all of that. We still have a rather large leak that we're gonna be addressing. The plan is for Monday, August 24th. That's off of this 12-inch line that we mentioned, back over here off of Market and Southeast Street, directly off the water tower. And that's where it presents the problems, because it's not even 100 yards from the water tower, and that's a lot of pressure and a lot of weight if something were to go wrong. But our plan is, we're gonna wind up taking 2 outages for it. The first one is gonna wind up being an all-day outage, and it's for the most part gonna take out the southeast side of town. So everything from 155 over, it's gonna take out, portions of Mechanic Street and, what's the next street over? I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. St. Andrews, yes. So it'll take out portions of that. Sorry, I'm still working on it.
Okay, I'm still alive. I'm going east.
So, and it'll go pretty far south too, and mainly it's just because there's so many lines coming off that 12-inch, and finding them and getting them isolated is a little bit of a trouble. And they have to be fully isolated to work on something that large.
Will there be a reminder?
Yes, absolutely. That's why we're setting it out far in advance. We're gonna start posting things throughout the week, next week, kind of get some reminders going, so that, Monday the 24th, we'll hit it hard. But our plan is we're gonna put an isolation valve in first. That's something that we should be able to complete within an 8-hour day. And then at that point, when we do the bigger job where the actual leak is at, we'll only have about 2 houses down. And at that rate, I've already got pieces where if we needed to, I could connect basically a temporary line through the next closest meter and run something above ground. That way we only have the 2 people that would be out, they would have water, even if it turned into a 3 or 4 day job.
That's good.
Michael, will this affect the restaurants on I-10 there?
It will not affect the restaurants on I-10. It will affect the restaurants here on 155, the gas station, Lowe's, things like that.
Okay, and nothing on UTEX?
No,
No.
it should not go past St. Charles.
Okay.
So it'll be basically between the railroad tracks and St. Charles and 155.
Is this the leak that we were trying to get a contractor for the longest and couldn't get, is that right?
Uh-huh, yes.
And we do have an engineer, Donald Warshak. I'm working with him. He's actually working with 2 homeowners on East Street there. Yeah, you remember Donald? And he's working with the 2 homeowners. He's talking to them about their concerns, because each one has individual concerns about how the water comes onto their property. And so he's going to design us some drainage. We're also going to take that 2-inch line there that runs north and south on East Street, and we're going to improve that to a 6-inch? 6-inch.
So far, right?
So yeah, he's working on that for us. So it'll all come together. The most important thing will be the valves at first, and we can do the other as a phase 3, I guess we would call it.
Absolutely. And then also, we just got the new aerator that we approved on the last meeting. We got that installed today, and it's now finally up and running. And I've submitted everything to TCEQ, and again, I'm still waiting on their contact, but I've submitted everything, so we should be finalized with that CSEP. I'm just waiting for their, them to validate that. So as far as that $48,000 fine, we're taken care of, and we got some good improvements off of it instead of a wasted violation.
Awesome.
David, then if you can just keep in the back of your mind that also the drainage off West Grange, that's gonna be west of North Summit, where that all backs up.
Yes, I had a contractor out yesterday. We're looking at boring towards the school. We have a drainage inlet
Yep.
right there, and we're gonna have to go under one of the driveways right there. But my whole plan, because the elevation on all 4 sides kind of goes into that property and makes it a sinkhole kind of. So I've been kind of spitballing ideas, and I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna drop a catch basin right in the middle of that spot that gets the most water, and we've got a power supply right there. So my plan is we're gonna run a power supply and put a sump pump down there and run it as a force main, a small force main, to get it over into our current drainage system, and then it'll go through the rest of town. So I'm waiting on a bid. I actually should have one sometime tonight, probably. And then the valve and hydrant maintenance. As far as the hydrant flow testing and everything, we've just about completed the north side of town. Again, we haven't gone through and done the full paint job, but we've been doing the greasing, the maintenance, and all of that stuff, as well as the flow testing to figure out exactly what flow it's at. And I've also come to find out that most of the hydrants here in town are colored higher than what they're rating at. Like most of our blue hydrants that are supposed to be putting out 1,500 gallons per minute, they're putting out right at 1,000. Even some of the other ones that were supposed to be putting out a little bit more than 1,000, they're putting out like 600. So all of that's getting updated, changed, so that the fire department knows exactly what they're hooking up to, because as of right now, all the paint's lined.
So, Michael, do we have any fire hydrants that are out of service right now?
Yes, we do have one off of East St. Charles, that small leak, and we're waiting on Stanley to warranty that tool that we just got, that hydrant saver. It's already got a crack in it. Yeah. First job. So they warrantied it, and it's on the way from Stanley right now, but it looks like gonna be able to keep this other one. So I've actually got a contracted welder doing some small jobs here. We've got a water meter vault that we have to build for the golf course and things like that. A couple tractor implements need a little touch-up welding. So he'll be starting next week doing some of those odd jobs, and that should help out a lot with that. And I've noticed too yesterday, I haven't gone out to do the locates and everything for them, but where we're flow testing over off of Northeast Street on the backside of St. Michael's and all that area, my guys found 2 of the hydrants yesterday that whenever they opened the valves, it started bubbling up from below. So either we got a main valve problem, they shut the hydrant off pretty quickly just to make sure. They really needed somebody with a little bit more expertise to open it up. It looks like it's more than likely just a valve and it's seeping out through the weep holes is what's happening. But if not, and they were to open that valve all the way, then we got a geyser, and a very big problem to shut off. So we're working on those, and if those do come to find out that it's just a valve, then we can have those replaced in about 2 hours. Now with that new system. And again, as far as the electric side, they completed everything for the Cabot lift station. We got that back up and running now and looking good. Power supply is great. They're over at Shaver Field, and that's going to take them quite a while. They've got all the lights and the poles done pretty much on the outside, out in the outfield, but the few in between the 2 fields are going to be a little bit challenging because one is literally through the middle of that dugout. So they're going to wind up, we're probably going to have to take some fence down or something like that. So we're wanting to make sure that all the baseball, softball stuff is done before we get out there and we have a little bit of time to have it down. And other than that, we did sign 2 different purchase orders for Hahn equipment. They're coming out we have 2 booster pumps, one at each of our water treatment plants that are completely out right now. One was caught by the FLIR camera that did the camera work of all of our electric lines and supply for all of our water and wastewater infrastructure. They found burn-up bearings on one of them, and we only have 2 at that location, so it's critical that we get that one up and running. And then we're working on trying to get one of the 2 older pumps at Plant 1 either rebuilt or replaced. They're old enough, and trying to get the schematics and everything to line up, all the numbers and everything, they're having a little bit of a hard time because it's so antiquated. So they're going to take it, do an inspection on the pump, the motor, everything, and if they can't rebuild it, then they're going to try to see, while they have it in their shop, how they can make it work as far as something new that will be equal to what we have.
Michael, what's the name of that company?
That's Hahn Equipment.
No, the one that comes out and does the infrared. Is that
Yes, Scott Given is his name.
Scott
I can't remember the
Yeah,
name of his
Scott Gibbons.
company.
Council approved us to use him to do the infrared studies, and it's been so beneficial to us.
Yes.
Things that we can't see with our eyes, and he'll let us go out and repair them while he's in town, and then he comes back and re-inspects them when we move on, so.
And our guys have been going through in downtime, slower times, and going through and finding any of these little problem areas that popped up on that FLIR work. And we're going through and replacing wire, replacing cutouts, anything like that to make sure we're fixing that right now. They were out most of the day yesterday doing a lot of that stuff.
Very good service.
And as we mentioned about E3, they'll be here next month with that proposal for 90 and 180 days, trying to give a few options. And really just kind of waiting on that right now. We did get MagnaFlow to come back with an updated quote, and it was $5.1 million to dewater that, to take all the sludge out the traditional way. So even if we can do something where it gets us a good halfway fresh start and then go from there, it would be much improved.
And Michael, E3 does understand that it'd be a lot easier for the council to make a decision if the bottom right-hand number on that last page is supported through itemization as to what all these items cost, and that's why that number equals that.
Absolutely.
That was part of our problem last time. There was a huge number with no explanation.
Right. No, it's all being taken care of. And it'll all be run through Bo and everything before it comes back up here.
Thank you, Bud. We appreciate that.
All right. And have had a few dirty water complaints, but it is from us going through and doing the hydrant testing. And we've been having 2 different crews at times, so we got 2 hydrants, not including our normal weekly flushing. So at any given time this week, we've had 3 different hydrants in different places around town open. And we're going through every single hydrant, so of course, we're basically scouring the whole entire distribution system by doing this, creating constant 6-inch leaks over and over and over again. We're only flow testing them for, less than 5 minutes total. But even when we're flow testing, we're going through, when we flow test, we use 2 hydrants at a time, which is the proper way to do it. We get a flow test off of one, but we have static pressure readings on another so that we can make sure it's not gonna drop the pressure so much opening that hydrant for a tanker or pump truck or anything like that, where it's gonna turn into boil water notices or anything like that for the customers around there. We still know, of course, there's gonna be some of those dead ends like that, like say 253 or something like that, where there's no loop, it's just going to the edge of town. Say if you got a fire, house fire, structure fire that happens in the dead center of 253, of course, with those fire hydrants being in use, the people on the far end would be lower pressure. But everywhere else in town, when we're flow testing all these hydrants, we're still sitting a static of 50 and 60 PSI. So we're still well above any emergency limit or anything like that. So it looks like the actual status of our hydrants and our distribution system to provide for it is looking great.
David, have y'all had any reports on, I guess, like, the Cypher Loop area, like individuals come home during lunch and you can see like say your stove is, like if you lose a power and it comes back on, it's like resets their clock quite often. So I told them to make sure and call it in and report it, but they said that there's been a couple instances, like they'll be home and they'll get like a flash and it'll just cut the TV off and then you have to cut it back on. So I don't know if it's like a power surge or what,
We
but
had
something. in that
2 at
area.
City Hall that I know, and I live out in the country a little bit, and we've had
Correct.
2 or 3 out there too.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's coming from the substation or,
I even had them in Sheridan, and I'm not even connected. A lot of it's the wind and the trees is what we're finding. And we're going through trying to catch up with the tree work too, and that's why we're also trying to get contractors or something like that for something on a larger scale, because at this rate, we got 3 guys running all electric and tree trimming, and it's a little much,
Correct.
And at this point, if we had a massive windstorm or a massive ice storm, our electric infrastructure is always at risk, Same with the water and wastewater, mainly the water.
Have we gotten anywhere with the bids for doing the tree trimming for the heights?
we did, it was fairly expensive, because just to get, we were gonna use, I guess I could say their name, Smith. They created another division that's not working on the electric lines, they just do common areas. You have to have a foreman, you have to have an operator, you have to have a bucket truck, and by the time you're getting done all this, do you remember what the golf course contract is?
$2,000 a day.
$1,000 a day?
2,000 for 3 guys, 2 trucks.
Yeah, so, it's so expensive to do it, I don't know.
But it's also, we're gonna look around and find some other options too, because I know specifically on that job, they lasted 2 days before they were kicked off the job. So,
I do see some tree trimming signs around. I don't know if we can, Michael and I can talk about maybe reaching out to some of them that would just do residential houses. Maybe it'd be more reasonable, but to mandate a guy to sit there and watch everything, and then the truck, and then 1 or 2 people to stand around. We just
It's
can't afford that.
ridiculous.
No.
It's just too expensive.
It's understandable, just nice to get it, knock it out at some
Yeah.
point.
Absolutely.
There's still, it's
Our
all-
guys
all
doing
around town.
the best they can, but it's just a lot of work. Trees just growing this time of year.
I know there are 2 individuals that work pretty regularly here in town. But I'm sure you might get contact with them and see what they,
I saw a sign up this morning over here.
Curie's one
Who?
and S&N Curie.
S&N, I know I've seen that one.
Yes, and
They've been up and down quite a few of the streets.
Okay.
Out in the country too.
Yeah, which one?
Apple?
Apple? Yeah, I think Apple.
See what
Back
they
to
say.
those flashes, I have an app, but I get brownouts, and it's where the voltage drops lower than what it should. I get alerts, I just had one on, I just wanted to see when the last date was. It was August 10th,
Okay.
and I'm over there on St. Andrews. But it's maybe once a week or something, I'll get a brownout. I can tell when lights will dim a little bit or something. I don't think it's an issue, but
It
I
could
have
turn
an
into.
app, I have an app with my insurance that tells me if I have a brownout.
I was wondering what app that is. Okay,
So,
good.
yes, it's an app that tells me if I get a brownout or if electricity's out, it alerts me. But anyway,
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know if that's also an issue, but I do get those little surges every once in a while.
And I think they're all tied in back to that same root cause, you know, and even if it's not on your block as far as a line in a tree in a
Yep.
line or something, it could very well be hidden, you know. But like I said, we're working on catching up on it, but it's a massive job for
Correct.
a small group, you know.
Absolutely.
Any other questions for me so far right now? All right, well, thank y'all for your time.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Clay?
Okay, the financial report for the end of July. On the first page, or page 6, you can see the cash balances in each of our accounts. We do have a few CDs that will be maturing in September. We will talk about those next month. Cash in the bank summary, you can see our cash is up just a little bit from last month. And then our credit card reports, the approval, very minimal. There was some training, a lot of training, a lot of classes that were attended in the month of July. And then again, on our city vehicles, very minimal amount of repairs for the month, which is always good. And the motel tax report for the 25-26 year, we're catching up on that. Any questions?
Can I circle back around to this works complex?
Uh-huh.
So I know we're gonna scale it down, like what you were saying, so with scaling it down, do we have, because a big question when we were in the meeting was, do we have enough funds? You know what I mean? And so to do, because I guess some people are like, okay, we wanna start it, but then are we gonna be able to keep moving along with it, you know, as far as that, because of the financial aspect of it?
So, we're gonna build to the funds available.
Okay, that's, okay.
And I guess we either start or we just scrap the whole project and give the money back, because there's no other choices, but at this point, the donor wants to see something happen with his donated
Right.
money.
Okay,
And so, we had a meeting this morning, and we're gonna build to the funds available now.
okay,
And then as we get additional funds in, we'll
then we'll just
move
continue that.
forward, yeah.
Okay. I
Do
just
you
wanted-
have an idea of the funds that are available? Is it going to maybe get, I know we're saying 2 fields, and are we able to at least say we're gonna have a concession stand, and you gotta have that and restrooms in 1 field? Or is it possible we're just gonna have a concession stand and a restroom?
So,
Do we know what the I mean,
yeah, so we'll know if we've got the Texas Parks and Wildlife grant in about the beginning of February, end of January, beginning of February. That'll be $750,000 from them, $750,000 from us, from the donor.
right,
If we don't get that grant, for some reason we don't get the grant, then that $750,000 that would have matched the grant will go immediately to do the bathrooms and concession and what have you there.
Okay.
So, but in the meantime, we'll start building out the other infrastructures, and then we'll kind of come around, and at that time, we'll have to make another decision. But, so hopefully, we'll get the grant.
but I agree, we have to start, otherwise.
Yeah.
It's just like the swimming pool, if we never start,
Yeah.
Yeah, that, I mean, that's what I wanted to hear, yeah.
Yeah.
Is what I.
We don't want it to go back on the shelf.
Huh?
When will we start anything?
When will we be starting? Clay, we didn't get a definite answer from them, but.
We didn't get a definite answer, I mean,
September, October,
bid process.
we have to go out for, we have to, now they're gonna know exactly, they'll design the, final drawings and build plans, and they'll have to put a bid package together. So we're right around $2 million bid package, and they'll have to put that out, and then, we're gonna add, that's the contingencies, so in that bid package, we'll have contingencies for the, concession stand and bathrooms, that'll all be in contingency, so, we don't have to put it in right away, but we can add it in as time progresses. So, once we get the bid packages out there, we, open the bids, accept the contractor, you think maybe sometime in October?
I was thinking October.
November, yeah.
October, November? Yeah, so we can see dirt this year. Okay?
Okay, so,
And the city will do some simple things like tree removal and things like that, just simple things that we can pitch in to help. And the architect was kind of against us having a group of guys come in and build a fence here and do this here. It just, it kind of makes it hard for the actual contractor. But once we do this, we're kind of given the okay to, once we do this, we get this kind of done, we could have local people build a batting cage. You know, that'd just be one piece that we build ourselves. So there are things that we can do to keep it moving at our pace, you know, as we get funds available. Anything else on that, Clay, that you?
No, I don't think so, I think we covered it, I mean, it's like, the main thing is to get the ball rolling with the funds that we do have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like the mayor said, we were kind of kept putting the swimming pool out, and then finally we just, let's do it. And we got a swimming pool now, so it's a very nice swimming pool.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, and, Michael, you had a couple of people taking tests. One gentleman did pass his test.
Yes.
And who was it, and what kind of test did they pass?
Travis Buckle has now passed his D wastewater. So now we have, other than myself, we have 2 wastewater D operators. And we have another one, Chris Wilson, who's getting close to being done with his classes, and he'll be ready to go for a D wastewater as well.
Good. Moving right along on education, that's good. All righty. Clay, are you finished?
Yes, sir.
All right, Danny? Page 19 to 21.
Long report.
busy.
Good evening. My report is in your packet. Mainly, what I've been working on since the last council meeting is getting the personnel manual ready for y'all. So that's the main bulk of what I did, plus all the things that you see listed. Any questions?
Anything you need to, or would like to highlight on, there's a lot of stuff here.
Yeah, so I would like to point out that, we've had a lot of discussions back and forth with Safe Built over different permitting things, what our rules are. We had a new permit tech start kind of concentrating on Weimer, and so she's had a lot of questions from Safe Built, like, okay, is this allowed, is this not allowed? So we've been going, Dave and I both been going back and forth with them, and with her specifically. There's a couple of projects that have been outstanding for quite some time that we're trying to get wrapped up with final inspections and stuff, and so.
Can you, who are we going with, or did we finalize the, like, information number, like, when to give the calls out and saying this is what's happening?
Oh, the emergency,
Yeah.
yeah, so our contract with Code Red is through the end of this year.
Oh, it is through this
Yeah,
year.
so
Okay.
we've already agreed to go with a new company, and I've already started working on the spreadsheets to convert the data from Code Red into their version.
Okay,
But we won't actually implement that till January 1.
so January, okay. I just remember us talking about it, so then I was like wondering what it was.
So one thing is, I know when we had the power outage, our phone rolls over to the answering service in Giddings, I believe she is, and it physically goes to a cell phone. because our the landline was, they boosted that up to almost a couple $100 a month, so now we're paying, I think, $25 a month for this cell phone, so we're saving quite a bit of money every month on that. But it's only one, and so when people were calling in with this outage, they could only take one call at a time. And everybody calls in, they like to tell a story, and so it just bogs it down. So what they're gonna do is, she talked to me the day after, and they're gonna put a message on there. There's a power outage in Weimar, we're expecting 2 hours. If you can't get through or something, call back. Something along those lines, so that people can know what's going on. It's just kinda hard when you've got 50 people calling one number at one time.
It
so.
happens here during
Yeah,
business hours.
when it happens here, we're all running around
right.
trying to catch phones in the city, so that just was what happens. But she came up with a plan right away to try to address it, so I think we'll be moving forward with that. Hopefully we won't need it, but it'll be there if we need it. Anything else for Danny? No. Well, thank you, Danny.
Thank you.
Chief. Chief's reports are in this little packet here.
Back to the pie graph. Thank you, council, mayor. During the month of July, we had 151 calls for service. We generated 22 reports out of those calls for service, and 2 arrests were made. We had 205 traffic contacts, 113 warnings, and 92 citations. So that's come up quite a bit over the last couple of months as well. So that's our stats for the month. One thing I'm working on currently that we just wrapped up and we handed over to HR, so they're reviewing it, and it'll go to you, David, for final review, is our policy. We didn't have really a policy manual in place for our police department, and it's the Bible. You have to live by a policy, a department policy. So we've adopted one from the Texas Police Chiefs Association and kind of fit it to our format. Want to make sure it corresponds with the city's policies, so that's why I wanted Danny to review it and then Mr. Mason to review it, and then once they get through with it, we'll send it to Bo for final review and have it ready for our officers. So that's what we've been working on. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Misty?
Good evening, council, mayor, and city of Weimar. All right, now I can at least breathe for a little while since summertime's over with. August, we are, of course, we've slowed down a little bit. I'm still doing the adult water aerobics class all the way through August, hopefully a little bit in September. We're going to continue to do that. I'm still having about 10 to 12 people show up for it, so that's good. On Tuesday at 10. We also have Weimar Chess Club continuing on from 3:45 to 4:45 on Tuesdays. We're hoping more people can join into it because it is a very good thing for kids and adults and any age to do chess and stuff and learn all the challenges into it and try to make your mental work. Then on Wednesdays, we're still doing our library emotion classes at 10. And then also on Thursdays, we have our family story time at 10. And we had our book club meet this Monday, and it was a very good turnout. They're continuing on with good books, choosing and getting together and discussing all their book discussions. So we're going to continue on that for all the way through. The second page on 24 is our summer reading program report. We had very good numbers this year, went up. Our kids total was 110 participants, and then our adults were at 56 participants. Total of 166 participants this year, so very, very big improvement. Our community reading was up to 200,000 pages to read. And I was getting a little sketchy again this year because I didn't know if they were going to meet their goal because it was like at 66,000 and then they all rampaged in at the very end with 216,488 pages, which it was beating their community goals. So I'm going to have to raise it up and see if we can get it next year. We had lots of good prizes for our raffle prizes. We have a lot of good donations. As you can see, we had some from JK Cattle, the pharmacy shop, Elite Auto Detail, Santos Tax, Rough Cuts and Shampoodles, and the Hair Stop. Also had the Stinky-tailed Taxidermy help us out this year. And I hope I'm not, oh, and I won't forget Splashaway helped us out too. And also we had the city swimming pool do a gift certificate too for next year. We had someone win that. Also had Country Bakery give a gift card, and also Casper Meat Market. We had other events happening this summer. We had other ones. We had a lot of good shows, plus the snake show was a very good one, of course. We will have him back in January just to give a heads up for the adults again to learn about the poisonous snakes and how to handle. Anything else pointing out? Of course, it goes through different ones and how many participants we've had. We had really good participation. So our circulation activity on page 26, as you can see, it's up there. So it's going to be starting to slow down, of course, because all our kids are back in school. We don't have as many people coming in and getting books. But we're going to try to keep going with more like programs to get kids reading during there and help them out with the schools and stuff. Try to continue to try to get people to come in and have programs. Right now we're at 18,025 patrons. Or sorry, 18,000, can't read it. 18,000 now, 25, that's how much we have materials in the library. I knew the number's pretty close with the 18 in there. Then the patrons is 1859, so we're still like 1818. So right now on loan is 400 still books out there on loan. And for our visits this past, for July, was 1,029. So it stayed up there, even beat last year's numbers, continuing reading all the way through July, which was a great thing. For our audiobooks and our ebooks with Libby online, we had 50 audiobooks used, and ebooks was about 46. So it ended up being about even. And that's it for the library. Any questions? All right, we'll come for a visit. We're here.
Jim? This will be our code official report from Jim.
What's that?
Code official report.
Evening, Mayor, Council. Let's see. Numerous code enforcement calls. Thank God the rain did stop, I'm not gonna lie. I know we need it, but people are catching up with their grass, they're mowing it, they're doing pretty good. I'm pretty happy. I have tried something new, rather than hanging things on doors or sending letters. I've tried to call people, especially these out-of-town owners. Seems to be working pretty good. I'm having pretty good success with just telephone calls, and it seems to be working. There's good progress on the house, in my opinion. 100 East Cabot, he's doing pretty good. One-man guy doing it in 100-degree weather. He's doing as best he can. And then I talked to Trent White, who is the son of the owner of the house that burned on East. He did clean up from the fence to the street all the way around, which made me happy. He got rid of a junk car that was there. And what he told me is his mom is working in the home program, trying to get that. I really don't know much about that. And what he told me is where the lot where the house is that burned, what his mom's plan is to tear that down, donate that to the city, because they own property at the end of East, and build their house down there. I don't know a whole lot about that, so that was his plan. So. One problem we're having with animal calls is it seems like Weimar is a dumping ground for dogs. People will come into town and they'll dump their dogs off. Right now I have 2 in the shelter. They're not chipped. I don't know. I don't have a clue who their owners are. They showed up on the north side of town, but I had little puppy I had to adopt out again. That was, I think, the same deal. So it's a problem. I don't know how to solve it, to be honest with you, but it's happening. I completed the code enforcement class finally, thank God. And I'm waiting to hear back from TDLR for my exam date. David and I toured the city for placement of the speed limit signs. We got a pretty good idea. It looks like it's gonna be approximately 53 signs total, maybe, give or take a few. And lastly, the stop signs are all in place, and I hope that's, seems to be working good. In my law enforcement side of my job, patrolling, and it seems to be working out pretty good. So, any questions?
Bigger signs look good at the school.
You like that?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, they are much bigger, aren't they? I didn't really realize that till I went down there and wow, those are bigger. So,
Good. Well, thanks for suggesting that.
yeah.
Easy to take care of.
Questions?
No, sir.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And Maria,
It's,
there you are.
I'm right here.
that one.
The report's in the packet, and basically, we've got quite a few collections this month again. It's busy.
We knew activity had picked up, but it's nice to actually see it in print.
Yes,
So, we appreciate
visualize it.
this.
Yes.
Yes, you're welcome.
Court has been busy.
Very busy. Very busy.
Well, thank you for what y'all do,
Okay, thank you.
you and the judge, and the PD, and Ms. Dawsey.
Mayor, that's it for my reports. Thank you very much.
Very good. Okay, and we'll move on to presentation 7.1. Presentations regarding the Resilient Communities Program, RCP Planning Grant number 23-160-152-F582, including the project details, scope of work, and timeline. Jerry Conrado.
And this is
So
not
how you
Jerry.
say
Hi.
He was not able to
I'm
make
here on
it.
behalf of Jerry. My name's Kate Thompson. Good evening, council, mayor.
So that's not the person I saw.
Yes, sir. So tonight, I'm excited to share with y'all that the city of Weimar received a grant for $250,000 from the General Land Office to develop a new resilient comprehensive plan with no local match required. So this plan is going to help guide future growth. It's going to take place over the next 20 years, infrastructure, development, and community investment. And tonight is our first public meeting, and our main goal is to explain the process and begin hearing from you all. And so our role in this process is we're going to be assisting with the planning process as well as the grant administration. We have multiple people from planning and hazard mitigation, engineering, community engagement, all in this role to help y'all develop a plan that is practical, fundable, and implementable. And in terms of project schedule, we're in the very beginning stages. And today we had our first key stakeholder meeting where we gathered a lot of great information. Thank y'all for that. And we'll be using that to kind of develop the base studies, kind of get an idea of Weimar, and move on from there to create resiliency goals and objectives, and then start the preliminary draft of the plan. Later phases will include developing those resiliency strategies for y'all, GIS mapping, the overall plan development, as well as other additional public meetings. We'll be coming back for more public meetings here, as well as holding a community showcase for everyone to come and contribute to the plan. Additionally, we'll have a platform that we'll share. I'll talk more about that in a little bit. This plan mainly is going to cover land use and future development, transportation, housing, community facilities, and infrastructure. Those are all sort of topics that are required by the grant itself, but additionally, we'll also go over economic development, natural resources, and historic and cultural resources for y'all. But overall, the main theme is resiliency, how to keep Weimar resilient, prepared, and how to recover. And then we'll start building the plan. We're going to be looking at existing plans for y'all. We've already started collecting those and kind of analyzing them. And we'll also be producing GIS maps for y'all. So we'll be looking at drainage, transportation, utilities, critical infrastructure, creating a future land use map based on y'all's existing land use and overall population growth in the future, and then any risk data and parcel and structures for y'all. Lastly, community engagement. Like I said, we'll be returning for y'all,
but we will also at some point release a social pinpoint platform. This will be available to the public where they can take surveys based on resiliency or comment on any documents that we have. And then, ultimately, we're just really excited to get to working with y'all, and if y'all have any questions for me, please let me know.
And this will not only gives us a guide as to how we move forward, but it helps with grants too, right?
Yes, having projects identified, whether that's in the capital improvements or in the implementation section, that'll help guide any grants, whether y'all focus on parks and you say you want to do a certain project for a park, having that when you apply for a park grant will assist you. So there's a lot of opportunity there for future funding.
And then with your community engagement, it'll help us to see what our community wants, where they want to shape Weimar in the future. So it gives
Yes.
input from everybody.
Yes, definitely.
Well, thank you all very much.
Of course, thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, with that, we'll move to the item 8, consent agenda. All consent items are considered routine and will be accepted upon a single vote. Any council member may request that an item be removed from consent agenda for individual consideration. 8.1, approval of the regular city council meeting minutes of July 9, 2026.
So move.
Motion, Roberts.
A second.
Second, Behrens. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. With that, we'll move to new business. 9.1, discussion and consideration and possible action regarding an ordinance amending the official zoning map of the city of Weimar by rezoning property located at 307 East Hinton Street from its current zoning classification to commercial -1, parentheses C-1, as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission. David.
Mayor, we'd like to take no action on this item this meeting. We will bring it back at the next council meeting.
Okay, so per our previous, motions on this sort of thing, I'll call for a motion. We don't want to table, we'll just not act on it. So I'll call for motions, and if we don't get a motion, then we'll continue. So motion on 9.1. Motion on 9.1. Motion on 9.1. Okay. Item fails for lack of motion. 9.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding approval of the final replat of the Ruiz subdivision located at 505 South St. Andrew Street as recommended by the Planning and Zoning Commission. David.
Mayor, also on this item, I request that we take no action.
Okay. Call for a motion on 9.2. Motion. Third call, motion. No motion, so 9.2 fails for lack of motion. 9.3, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the award of the maintenance contract for the city's water storage tank. Michael, or David through Michael, I guess.
Michael, are we ready on this one?
Yes. This is another one we're not gonna call to action tonight. I'm still got a couple of contractors that are straggling on their quotes. But I wanted to kind of bring this to y'all's attention as we had already gone through the rehab contract for the Plant 3, and the concrete clear well at Plant 1 has got cracks and leaks throughout it. So this is a comprehensive maintenance plan. These are things that should be done on a yearly, every 3-year, 5-year basis, and they have it broken down. I'm not sure, do y'all have the contracts with y'all included in anything?
I didn't think
No.
they had them
Okay,
in the previous-
my apologies, I'll be happy to pass these around. These are a few different options. Each one is a 3-year and a 5-year with 2 options included into it. One option is basically combining all work for whether the 3 or 5 years and breaking it up into an even amount per year annually. Or some of these are, say on year 3 of a 5-year, that's when they'll go through, do the repaint, the reseal and everything. They'll clean them every year, do certain work, and then certain years will be more work done on others. So then we could just pay year by year for whichever year has more. As this is something that already needs to be done on a regular basis, yearly basis with inspections, we already do but cleaning and things like that, which will help our distribution system. Do we want to continue on a case-by-case situation as it's gone on before? Or do we want to go ahead and get a contractor out here that, we would have to get a contractor for this kind of work anyway, cleaning towers and all that. So would we want to put this on a proactive plan, is essentially what I'm kind of wanting to discuss with y'all. And I'm still working on getting additional quotes. Some of these are taking quite a bit longer than others. But like I said, I just kind of wanted to put that bug in y'all's ear as far as something, and then next month we'll get a actual action item on this with multiple quotes. Okay, and once we get out of here, I'll make extra copies of all that for y'all so it can be included in y'all's binder. My apologies. All right, any questions so far?
I find so many times we get ourselves behind and we're always playing catch-up. We don't fix something until it's broke.
Yes.
Or this will be.
Proactive, not
ahead,
reactive.
Everything will line up fine.
Yes, sir.
Proactive would be nice.
Yes.
Thank you, Michael.
So,
So I request that we take no action on this item also.
motion for 9.3, second call, third call, no motion, so item fails for lack of motion. 9.4, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding approval of proposal for mold remediation services at the city utility warehouse in an estimated amount of $13,500, and authorizing the city manager to execute the necessary agreement and related documents. David?
Mayor, this item is on pages 44 through 46. We did some mold testing. With mold, there's the state or federal guidelines that say that we have to do certain procedures. We can't just go out there and do it ourselves and throw it in the trash. We have procedures we have to follow. And licensed contractors have to remediate the mold. So we reached out to ServPro, and they gave us this quote to remediate the mold. I did have two samples, a sample done and also an action plan. So the same company came and did the samples, then they came up with an action plan for us, presented the action plan to ServPro, and that's where we are today. Did I miss anything, Michael? I think
Yes.
pretty good, right?
That's the last contact I've had, yes, sir.
And then Bo said, well, he's fine with all this, he just said that we need to find out what's causing this. Well, we know what's causing this. The air conditioner has been running too cold and causing moisture, excessive moisture in the office. So we've made steps to remediate that problem, so it's not going to happen. The office does need fixing up anyways. It's been in ill repair for several years. So it'd be a good time just to refresh everything and go through it.
What temperature is too cold? Just curious what they had it at.
It was in the lower to mid-60s.
Yes.
Oh,
That's
It
pretty
was like
cool.
ice bucks in there, and water was dripping from these vents.
Sounds like we need to get a lockbox and be able to control it off your phone.
yeah.
We do now.
Well, I do have a Sensi app on there that I can control off my phone. Yeah.
So it looks like this is for removing mold, yada, yada, yada. What about the replacement of damaged materials? Is that like sheetrock walls or what?
Sheetrock walls,
So who's-
to my knowledge, they replaced all that, correct?
Yeah, that's to my understanding.
Yeah.
All right.
But I have not seen this quote, so I don't know if this is to be all included with, if it's just a certain mold company that's doing it outside of ServPro, or what the situation is.
I mean, this just said, this doesn't say anything about repairing it. This is just removing it.
Well, then we probably need to get something in place to fix it right away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we probably need,
I wouldn't do anything.
I was gonna say, I think we probably need to get the estimate of everything. to
Include it.
have
Just
them-
make sure what is included in this.
Yes,
I agree with you,
and-
I agree with you.
And if whatever to replace it, we need to know that cost, so we can,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if this is an awful lot of money to,
Right,
not that
we don't
much
want-
mold, but it's awful lot of money just to take out mold
It
and then.
needs to be a turnkey
Yeah.
situation.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
I will get some, we can post, okay, here we go. Mayor, I ask that we take no action on
I'd
item
like
nine.
to possibly get another bid,
Four.
just to see,
See,
make
okay.
sure it's competitive.
Okay,
See if somebody
yeah,
steps up.
it's hard to find licensed people to do it, though, but I'm sure.
Servpro is good.
Yeah,
company.
I know, they're
Yeah.
getting at it.
I just, yeah, you know, when you don't have any
Is
other
that how
company
you're
to,
taking it?
Yeah,
Compete with, you could,
Yeah.
okay, we'll reach out to at least one more
That's
company.
their whole
and
baby.
get it.
David, this is
They're all
from,
waiting till-
is this your proposal from these guys? Just this email? Because that's what they sent to you, right?
Yes,
So, because here,
it just says removal and
well,
doesn't.
Christina brought up on our council paper that it says, go ahead, Christina, what did it say?
Reconstruction of the removed materials and contact elevations are not included in the proposal.
Oh,
So,
there you go.
I mean, it's,
Yeah,
So
okay,
it's
so it says
like-
it's not, okay.
so it's saying it's not, that's how I'm taking it at least. I
Yeah.
mean,
So we need
Well,
to revisit that.
Yeah, we need to revisit this one.
I think it says-
Reconstruction content, there you go, right there.
Okay,
Okay.
here we go for 9.4.
Thank you.
Motion for 9.4. Motion for 9.4. Motion for 9.4. 9.4 fails for lack of motion.
Thank you.
Okay, so we'll move to 9.7. Council, we're going to move that up. So if we'll look at 9.7, and then we'll go through the others. So 9.7, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding amending personnel manual policy relating to police department take-home vehicles. David?
Mayor, council, let's leave it in the page 51.
50 and 51.
do you also have this?
Yes,
handout?
Yeah, also that, yeah, and,
It's in there.
It's in there?
Yeah.
oh, I didn't have it in mind, okay. So, after talking with the police chief, he was requesting that we allow take-home vehicles for the police officers to counties that are adjacent to Colorado County. I think that's the wording that we came up with. Right now, I think it's only Colorado and Fayette County, and you're requesting that we make it to counties that are adjacent to Colorado County.
Yes, sir.
And if y'all would like to discuss that, that's where we are.
And is that just for travel to and from work, not like side jobs and stuff like that, correct?
No side jobs, it'd be to and from work. The benefits to this is that we are a small agency, limited people. I worked in Belleville for over 20 years, and there were several times where we had big situations occur, and we had to have every man on deck show up. Those guys had their vehicles with them, we allowed it in Belleville, and same situation surrounding counties where they could respond without having to go into a centralized location to move all the equipment out and get it back into another vehicle and then respond. There's been a couple situations since I've been here, working here for the last 4 months, just responding home. Last week, about a week and a half ago, I was going through Cat Spring and there was a car on fire, and there was no one around the car except one fireman that was just trying to hold traffic by itself. So I got out, helped him for a good hour and a half, direct traffic until more units could show up. Another officer that we have, Chris Rosales, that lives in the same county, was responding back home after work, and there was an MHMR situation on the side of the road where the county was trying to deal with the mental patient, and he had to stop. Of course, he was already off duty from being here, but technically we're never really off duty, as you know, as being first responder. And so he had to help, and he had, with his vehicle, was able to help the deputies by responding to that call as well. So different situations like that, they're few and far between, but when they do occur, they can be bad. And so that's why we think this is the benefit, as well as the officers being able to travel to and from. It is a perk of the job in today's world. If you look at other agencies, they are certainly offering these same types of situations. When you're not paying what Houston's paying or bigger counties, this is something that certainly attracts officers to our area as well. So that's another reason.
And I did reach out to the sheriff, they did the same thing for the county as well, so it's definitely a plus.
I mean, my dad has 2 officers from Austin County that live right in Schulenburg crossing the agreement. It happens everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
I just, I guess we can do the surrounding Colorado counties. I just didn't know if we needed to put like a mileage like we did for, hiring you, in a sense. So
They can work
do we-
against you or for you,
Or you-
depending on how you put it, based on where someone lives in a county, for instance, if someone lived in Shelby, Texas,
Yeah,
or,
okay.
or you said Austin County and you went, Wallace, of course, we don't have anyone that
Yeah.
lives in Wallace, but it depends on how big the county is,
County
where the
is.
mileage can go. That's why we did agree that if you just did adjacent counties, surrounding counties, it kind of keeps it localized for the most part without getting up into mileage.
Chief, what
That
is the
makes sense.
furthest that one
I
drives? Do you know?
think I may, don't hold me to this, but I think I may be the furthest, about 45 miles or something like, in that neighborhood. Now, we do have an officer that lives out a couple of counties away. He would not be allowed to take his vehicle home. He'd have to get it here. Or keep it within a county close, where if he made an arrangement with the police department, he could park it at that police department if it cut down time somewhat. But again, you're just getting back into where you'd have to get out of a vehicle to get into another vehicle, so.
Yeah, as long as you just confirm and make sure that, they aren't using it for side jobs. and
No
stuff like
side jobs. That would be a policy violation at that point that we're currently working on right now, so they would not be allowed to utilize any of that for side jobs.
Perfect.
And the more specificity you give, make it very clear what is acceptable and what's not.
Right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
But it sounds like a good thing. Council, this is an action item.
Well, I move to approve the amendments to the City of Weimer Personal Manual, Chapter 12, relating to Police Department take-home vehicles as presented.
Motion Roberts,
Second.
second Christian. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Council Mayor.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to 9.5, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding updates to the city's personnel manual. David and Danny.
So the only thing that changed from last time is the little sheet of paper that you'll have, which just included what the chief
Yes.
brought before you. And then Bo, I had sent this verbiage about the reimbursement for training to Bo, and this is what he approved. So this would be added in section 8.06.
Thank you for that.
Well, I move to approve the updates of the City of Weimer Personal Manual as presented with an effective date of August 13th, 2026.
Motion Roberts,
Second.
second Langoff. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
I said aye.
Danny, thank you for that, all your help on that project.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. 9.6, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding the adoption of an ordinance regulating the operation of electric bikes and electric scooters within the city of Weimer. David, and then I guess Chief.
Yeah, Chief?
All right, yeah, this is something we discussed a little bit at the last meeting. Y'all familiarized hopefully a little bit with it now. City of Prosper has this already in place. Behind the flyer that you have in front of you is actually their ordinance that corresponds with the flyer. I say we just go ahead and, no point in reinventing the wheel. If you all are happy with this ordinance, we can just adopt this ordinance and put our name on it. I know that Kyle had brought up a point about the nighttime riding for e-bikes. The only thing when we started researching that, even Danny brought that up at our last meeting, those bikes can switch to a pedaled version if the electric part's not working, from what I understand, like a hybrid. So we do allow nighttime bike riding for regular bicycles, so regulating that might be the only problem is when is it going to be an e-bike and when is it actually a pedal motorized bike versus a pedal bike, I guess you should say. So that could be the only issue there, but we could work with that on a case-by-case situation if it was to pop up. But really, it's up to you, whatever you choose to do on this particular situation with e-bikes. We can do pretty much what we want.
You think it's applicable to our circumstances here in Weimer?
I think it's not necessarily a big deal now, but I think it's going to potentially be a big deal as we move forward. It may not be in another year or two, but 5, 10 years down the road, it could be. Certainly, like Bo mentioned, bigger cities are dealing with it all the time. It's a huge problem now. And I guess it was brought up to you, Mr. Mason, that these were an issue, and that's why we had to start looking into this. Scooters are a totally different story. Motorized scooters, you actually have an ordinance on the scooters already on the books, and I don't see any reason to change anything there, other than I saw that the age limit to allow roadway riding is over the age of 10, anything under was a helmet, from what I understand. That ordinance is in there as well, behind the Prosper ordinance. Let me read that real quick. But they're two different animals when you get right down to it. The second page of our current ordinance with motor-assisted scooters is 12.07 on the second page of our Traffic and Vehicles, Chapter 12. You'll see it, there's only 4 things that are required by the city of Weimar. I see no reason to adjust that or do anything different unless y'all feel like that we need to do something different. I do worry about little kids riding scooters on roadways, though. That to me is not safe, but, you know, I guess it's up to each and every parent as to how they want to allow that to happen or not happen.
So the way we're wording it right now, the e-bike would be allowed pretty much all hours of the night, right?
And I don't like the fact that they go as fast as they do, like you do, and then you're going to be dealing with this at nighttime, potentially. But trying to regulate when is it an e-bike and when is it pedal, you're going to have to argue that point with whoever you're dealing with. Were you pedaling it or were you riding it as an electric bike at that time? So it can go back and forth.
Well, don't want it to happen, but if something does happen, then we'll have to address it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're comfortable with this? Chief?
What's that?
You're comfortable with this?
I am, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
So if they have the e-bike, they gotta get it certified with y'all, right?
That is, now, I will say that. I'd rather not have to have that done, where we have to certify the e-bikes. I think it's up to an adult to decide whether they want to let their kids ride it or adults ride them. They ride them all the time as well. We don't want to be necessarily responsible for having someone bring the e-bike to us and we approve the e-bike, if that makes sense. I don't know anything about e-bikes. I'm not an expert on e-bikes. So I think Prosper does it if they're a little bit bigger city and maybe they have more parks and they're dealing with more parks and they want everybody to register the e-bike. I don't necessarily think we need to do that. You're just documenting who's got an e-bike in town is all you're doing when you do that. So I don't see a purpose of that necessarily, but how do you feel different on that or?
No, I was just wondering.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with it, to be quite honest with you.
Okay.
With registering e-bikes.
So you're saying
Take
take
that out.
out 12.10.001?
That's correct. Everything else, there should not be a requirement for a permit from the police department.
Let the parent regulate that?
That's correct. I think if you buy one, you own it. It's just like a bicycle, in my opinion. You don't necessarily have to register a bicycle, so. Just more paperwork that we have to deal with, and it's only just numbering the number of people that we have that have e-bikes and who they are, if you do it.
Right.
So if we need to bring this back to you next month and change that and just have it ready to roll, or?
With the exception.
You just make a motion with that exception if that's what the council wants to do.
Okay.
Just be this bottom part scratched out.
It would just be omitting that one section there.
So council, per your pleasure, it is an action item.
Well, I move to adopt the ordinance regulating the operation of electric bikes, e-bikes, and electric scooters within the city of Weimar, with the exception of removing 12.10.001, permitting electric bikes.
Motion Roberts. Second McMillan. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Chief.
You bet, thank you all.
Chief, while we have you up here, I don't have a problem with the scooters, I just think the kids need to be safe and abide by street rules. Just because you're on a scooter doesn't mean you don't need to stop at a stop sign.
Right.
Very true.
I was about to say, I think we need to put an announcement out there somehow, some way, or just kind of educate them when you do see them, I guess, because that is a big, you see them.
It is, and you've got little kids riding scooters, and there's a lot of people that travel fast around here. We've got a little bit of control over that, but it still happens. And so I'm certainly not going to send my 12-year out on a scooter on a main highway anywhere or roadway for that matter. And you do have some of that limitation in there, but still, it does happen. We've told our officers to, make sure that when they see things like that, they're checking on that as well. We don't want anybody to get run over by any means, so.
Chief,
Right,
can you
it's just-
work with Ms. Dazzy?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, once we get the ordinance approved, depending on what the verbiage is gonna be, we were going to meet with, Mr. Silky and possibly do a kind of a condensed driver's ed class for the junior high kids, because anybody in junior high hasn't gone to driver's ed, so they don't know what the traffic laws are. And they have to abide by traffic laws if they're gonna be driving an e-scooter. So once the ordinance is in place and we've posted about it, we're gonna meet with him to have like a lunch and learn with the junior high to teach the kids the basic traffic laws that they'll have to follow while operating an e-bike, whether that's to and from school or during summertime or whatever.
And that'll touch both on e-bikes and scooters, or just kind
A
of
little bit
blend
of
it all
everything.
together?
Yes.
We'll do it at the Catholic school too, as well.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we
Yeah, that's
can't
good.
exclude them.
Yeah.
Swinging around corners and stuff.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't want to not see them go outside. I'd rather them be outside, but then,
We just
you know,
worry
it's
about them
just-
sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want anybody to get killed out there,
Yeah.
just having fun.
Yes.
Well, this is only gonna get more and more popular.
It will,
Right.
it will.
Exactly.
All you have to do is go to Houston and see.
Oh, yeah.
It's unbelievable. Austin, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Move on to,
Stay up here.
popular guideline, 9.8, discussion, consideration, possible action regarding an ordinance amending City of Weimar Code of Ordinances relating to peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants.
So this, really, it's not about changing our ordinance that we already have in place, other than a couple things, and it's really about vetting our peddlers that are coming into town. We don't know who these people are. It's about safety and security for our people that they're going out to sell items to, going door to door. In today's world, unfortunately, you can't trust people just by their word, as we know. So we don't have the authority to run criminal history checks using the state system or federal system. It has to be for criminal justice purposes only. When I started doing research, I saw that Georgetown had a really good solution for this, and it's called Identigo, and it's what we have to use as police officers to do background checks on employment. And we actually have one here in Weimar, but they're all over the place. You can put in your zip code, and it'll pop up 5 or 6 different locations that are close to you. What Georgetown does is put the burden of doing a background check for federal and state criminal histories back on the person that's filling out the application, the applicant. So now it's a little more time consuming. You're not going to be able to walk in the city of Weimar and go, hey, I need a peddler's permit today, and they don't have their background already in place to show you. This would allow them to go to the electronic fingerprint Identico service, and it can be any business, actually. It's a contract business, so that's not a specific Identico. It can be any type of business that offers a service that's contracted with them. They get electronic fingerprints taken. If they just choose to have those delivered back to them electronically, I believe you can get them up in 48 hours time. If you have them mailed, of course, that's how fast the mail works. It could be up to a week to 10 days possibly. But again, the burden's put back on the peddler to provide that information to us, and then we can verify through their returns that they provide to us, their FBI and state returns, if they have a criminal history, by their driver's license, and make sure the IDs match. And then if you also look on here, there's some disqualifiers as to what is allowed and what is not allowed. Most of those are major felony offenses where fraud, theft, even going up higher than that, different assaults and things like that. And we certainly don't want those types of people, in my opinion, moving through our neighborhoods and victimizing our citizens here. So really, I think the process that's in place is good now, other than the fact that all we do is they come to our agency, we ink blot a fingerprint card, which is so out of date now. I don't even know who does ink blot anymore or test those. They don't accept them for the most part. They're all digital now. And then we give that ink blot card, fingerprint card, back to the applicant, who brings it back up to here to the city, and it's filed. So there's no way to really vet anybody right now. If they go out and they do something wrong and we get a complaint, all we have is a fingerprint card that we don't even know where to send anymore. So it's really obsolete at this point, and I think we need to have a better system in place, and I think this is a really good system that we can adopt to have the applicants go and do their own fingerprints and provide us their returns themselves. We verify that they're the person, that they're clear, and then we can let them go ahead and get the permit. One other thing is, if you post this in advance and someone gets ready to apply, they can see what the disqualifiers are. So they know that they have that in their history. Don't waste your time. Don't waste the city's time, and move on. You know, I think that's another good thing about this as well. I just feel real uneasy about people, and we've had quite a few in the last month and a half, I should say, that have come by, and we just fingerprint them, and we have no idea who they are, other than what's on their driver's license, and they go out in the community, and we're assuming they're doing what they're saying they're doing. We don't get any complaints for the most part, but when's that next time when we do, you know?
I think our citizens have a right to expect that we're gonna do everything we can possibly do to keep them safe for the people that are soliciting up and down our streets. So anything that we can do, I think, is.
I certainly wouldn't want someone to come out in our community and do something bad, and we, in essence, have put our seal of approval to allow them to go out and do it without knowing who these people are. Now, this would not include churches, schools, religious organizations that have already got access to that without having to go through permit process anyway, but,
These are unknown solicitors.
That's correct.
All sorts of things.
Do you know what this Identigo costs?
yeah, so, I believe Identigo, is a $10, it does get a little more expensive. It's a $10 service charge and then a $15 fee for your criminal history record. So it's gonna be $25 right off the top just to get your fingerprints done electronically. That doesn't include what we already charge for the permit.
Do you know where the closest one is around mine?
Yeah, there's one, right, Church Street, right?
Centos, Texas.
Yeah.
That's what I was.
But most of your peddlers are coming in from other areas anyway, so if they will do their research before they show up, they can find one in their local region and get all that taken care of before they show up to do the application process and go, here's my state and federal returns, I'm clear, and now I'm ready to fill out the application. And then if they do that, then they can probably get the permit done that day, you know, if they do the prerequisites ahead of time. But I think the biggest thing is seeing the disqualifiers. You're not gonna have anybody, I would think, that's gonna move forward with a fingerprint process if they see that they're not even gonna be accepted, or they're gonna be rejected, I should say.
I think it puts them on notice.
It does.
Chief, could we have the police department give them the final okay?
Yes, sir.
And then we collect the money here?
Yes, sir, I was gonna
We don't
say that.
know
What I would
about
say is let us look at those fingerprint returns and then say, yeah, he's good to go, and then send him back over here to
Then we take the money.
process. Yes, sir.
I think we're good with that then. Very good.
Well, how much do we make on it? Like, what are you
What's
charging?
the, Dana, what's the current fee, do y'all know?
Y'all have the ordinance in front of you, I believe,
in the
package. $50, something like that?
No, for what we charge now for a guy, person that comes in, $50 per person for 6 months?
3 days.
30 days. Okay.
So this feel like all those internet sales and stuff gonna be all right, like those
The
type of.
internet, the window, the roof, all those other ones that just came out.
It's been busy.
It has been busy, I was like, okay.
So Chief, another thing is, we could regulate some of this, but if an individual doesn't want any solicitors to come to their house, they can put up a sign
right.
that says no soliciting.
That's correct.
At that point, it becomes.
Trespassing.
Trespassing, they would call the police and they would
Right.
deal with it.
And we normally wouldn't arrest someone unless it's
Just run them
a
off.
big issue, but yeah, we just
Yeah.
tell them, hey, you can't be here.
Once they
Private
refuse to
property, they
be.
don't want you on here according to the sign.
And the first time's probably a warning, if they go to another house,
Then it's,
another house.
then
they'll
it may
probably
be a problem.
take it out of town or something. Okay, but so for the community, if you don't want solicitors, put a sign by your front door or.
Right, or in your yard,
where
wherever.
it's visible.
Yeah.
I just have a dog. 'cause I don't
Well,
knock on-
Sometimes that works too, right?
What's that, a big dog?
I said, or just have a dog, because sometimes they knock on my neighbors and don't knock on my house, because I was like, all right.
Exactly.
I just think it's too risky in today's world, especially financially, with older generations not knowing that they're being taken advantage of. We had a lady in Belleville that lost $80,000 before she reported it to us, and we weren't able to get that money back to her from a solicitor that was out of state. Another situation we had in Belleville was we had the hailstorm, a major hailstorm that took place a couple years ago. And that happened on a Friday afternoon, late Friday afternoon, and it was a massive hail damage situation in Belleville. Almost every roof in Belleville got replaced. That night, we had over 100 roofers in our town trying to go door to door, and none of them had been vetted. So we were going literally to every complaint to tell them you had to come back Monday morning to fill out a vendor's permit, and they were lined up that day, then that Monday morning, and we had to go through that entire process. Now, you can expedite certain situations like that, but I think this is the best way on the current method that we're looking at now.
It's safe.
Yeah,
It is.
Safer.
safer.
Right, yes, sir.
Safer at least. Council, this is an action item, 9.8.
I move to approve amending the ordinance of the City of Weimer Code of Ordinances relating to peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants as presented.
Motion Langhoff,
Second.
second Roberts. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. 9.9, discussion, consideration, and possible action regarding a request from the Weimer Police Department to temporarily close a portion of Jackson Street from South Mechanic to South Center Street for 2026 National Night Out event to be held Tuesday, October 6, 2026, from 4:30 to 8:30 p.m. David, Chief.
I want to let Lauren speak about that, because I wasn't here from National Night Out last year, but this is the same thing we did last year, correct?
Hang on one second, let me just clarify something. So, it was brought to me, that this request to close the street. I could have signed off on it. I have that authority. But as a courtesy to council, I brought it to council, that's one thing. And secondly, in this forum here, it can get out to the public, the public will know about it, and it just helps. Under some circumstances, it's like the day after the council meeting or something like that, so we don't have that time. So when available, I will gladly bring it to council. So I just want to
Great.
clarify that for people who wouldn't understand that.
Yeah.
Okay, Lauren, thank you.
Talk-
I mean, there's not a whole lot to say, it's.
Well, come up here and say it.
What
Put
is
you on- I put it on the
National
spot.
Night Out?
You have to say it.
Whatever you have to say, girl.
Good evening. So National Night Out is a night for the community to come together and meet our local first responders, law enforcement. It's just a way for the community to get to know our local law enforcement. The kids can tour the vehicles. We're gonna have a helicopter landing again by PHI. They're gonna land in that open lot. We're gonna do burgers and maybe hot dogs. I know for sure burgers. Elsner's.
More people show up, yeah.
Yeah. We've received great feedback from the community so far. We've had several sponsorships already, so we are in good shape to throw a big party with all the cops.
There's typically twice a year this is done, in August, which was just recently, and in October, but we figured the October version would be much cooler than the
Yes.
August version, and probably
We
more.
appreciate that.
Yes.
And normally you're invited out to a neighborhood, but a lot of law enforcement agencies now are having it at their PDs or centralized location, parks, things like that, where the community can come out to you versus just one neighborhood being selected, so we're proud of that part too.
Yep. So everybody on Tuesday, October 6th, be there or be square.
Times again were 6 to
6 to 8.
6 to 8, I know
Yeah.
I have it on
Oh,
our
yeah.
announcements, 4:30 to.
Well, the road
8:30.
closure is gonna be, it was requested from 4:30 to 8:30, so we can have time for vendors or anybody setting up a table to get in and set up and have no cars driving through. But the event itself is from 6 to 8 p.m.
Perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, this is an action item.
I move to approve the temporary closure of Jackson Street from South Mechanic Street to South Central Street on Tuesday, October 6, 2026, from 4:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. for the Weimer Police Department National Night Out event.
Motion Behrens,
Second.
second Langhoff. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. At this point, we'll be moving into executive session. I'm noting it at 7:07 p.m. For 11.1 pursuant to Texas Government Code 551.086, the city council will convene an executive session to deliberate, vote, or take final action on a competitive matter regarding the city's wholesale power agreement with LCRA, and 11.2% to Texas Government Code 551.072, deliberation regarding real property. So with that, we